See Catherine Connolly, please.
Thank you, Minister. I support the bill most reluctantly. First of all, I want to thank you for acting speedily, because there was a necessity for speed, and the situation that arose and brought to the attention of the public by the superintendent in Galway. I hope I haven't got his title wrong. It might be the chief superintendent in Galway. He did us all a favour in raising the idiotic situation that arose by failure to prepare and by the message that we're going to have an outdoor summer. So in that regard, I heartily welcome the legislation and thank you for your speed. I do not accept that it couldn't have gone through pre-legislative scrutiny, and I'll come back to why. And I find it very difficult that once again we're putting in legislation about other matters. In this case, which I agree with, an increase in judges, it shouldn't be in the same legislation. It is not good precedent, and it's not good precedent, and it's not good for our democracy to keep waiving pre-legislative scrutiny, albeit the committee agreed with that. And I'll tell you why. Because Galway is a very good example of what happened. And we brought in bylaws on 2 occasions, and the second lot are still there, which prevented drinking in the street. So we did everything right in Galway, and the reason that bylaws were brought in was after a long period of consultation and huge issues arising in relation to out-of-control drinking in public areas and no balancing of rights with residential areas. So finally, after a very long time, we brought in the bylaws. But the bylaws prevent drinking in the streets, and then we have the message from the government: go out and literally get drunk, really was the message. It's an outdoor summer. OK, well, I'll take that back, Minister, I see you. But it was have an outdoor summer. And that outdoor summer was extremely limited, wasn't it, in its message? Go and consume, eat and drink. And we will provide money, 18 million to provide. And I have no difficulty supporting businesses. I am for a thriving city. But the message was one-dimensional. There was no message of an outdoor summer in terms of canoes, sailing, windsurfing, or any of the other wonderful activities that we associate with summer or with swimming. So that one-dimensional message created huge problems. Secondly, that one-dimensional message utterly ignored what we passed in Galway, the Barcelona Declaration in 2002, which Deputy Hildegard Naughton is very familiar with, and I think she was there at the time, guaranteed universal access to all our residents to the city and the enjoyment of the city, regardless of age or ability. And the mantra we all used was, good design enables, bad design disables, to get away from labels. And so that was utterly ignored by management in Galway as they rushed to comply with the message from government to have an outdoor summer. And so I'm glad that we're bringing the legislation. I'm glad there's a sunset clause, because I would look on the taking over of public space as a restricted measure to help businesses to get over the COVID. That we would roll it on by resolution is of great concern to me, and I can imagine that I'll be sitting up there in due course where it's coming before us without debate. So I have serious concerns about that. If we go back then to the message yesterday, where you are now intending that only those vaccinated can go inside, I haven't enough words to describe my reaction to that, both on a gut level, an emotional level, and in my own brain. It's divisive, it's disgusting, and it's simply unacceptable. And we have brought the people of Ireland on, and they have led us by their example. And now we're going to divide and conquer. It is simply unacceptable, and sense has to prevail in relation to this matter. You've got to stop this idiocy. There are 3 men in charge of the country that could do with some feminine help and some practicality in relation to this. We are all in this together has to mean something. And now we have a situation where somebody who's going to stop me going in if I'm not vaccinated is probably unvaccinated themselves. The person that will serve me is unvaccinated, and probably all of the staff. And the 3 wise men in charge of this country, who are most unwise on this issue, don't see a problem. And they don't see a problem in sending out a message, go out and drink and consume, and we will look after you and the businesses for consumption, utterly failing to learn the lesson that we want to transform the way we do things because of COVID and because of climate change. We have to have transformative action. We cannot go back to the way we are. So, Minister, if you have any influence at all, I would say have this as a limited measure. Talk to the local authorities, in particular Galway City, and remind them of their obligations under the Barcelona Declaration and their commitment to have an access to everyone. And then stop this idiocy of divide and conquer. Let's work together. And I say that as someone who was behind zero COVID. I believed we could have achieved that and we should have worked from that. We didn't. And we allowed more people to die in the third wave this year because of the complete lack of preparation by the government and anticipation. If NEFIT gave this advice, which I haven't had the opportunity, thank you, then they're completely not fit for purpose if this was the advice they gave.
Thank you, Deputy. Minister.